Welcome to Crossroads and Cauldrons. We are two witches with jobs, families, and busy lives just like you. We talk about weaving the web of community, practicing magic, and life in the Deep South. Hey everybody, welcome to the show. I'm Sellena and you're listening to Crossroads and Cauldrons podcast. And guess what? I'm very excited to announce that Luna is back. Hi Luna.
Hey y'all. Hey.
Oh, I've missed you.
I missed you too.
Yay. I'm glad you're here.
Back. Me too.
I'm glad to have you back. And Aoife's not here, so it's like we play a little game of musical co-hosts over here, and that's fine. She may pop in from time to time. We'll see what happens. It's a mystery.
Yeah.
So, hi. We've been away for a bit. You've been away for a big bit.
For a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Had a lot going on.
Look,
Coming
I haven't
back
been
to the
here
land
since
of the living.
I haven't been here since March, so I got nothing to say for myself. But I'm happy that we're recording again. This is exciting.
Yeah,
and
me too.
I keep forgetting to mention, but if you listen to the show, we have a new theme song at the beginning and at the end of the show is what, where you put the theme song in those places. Written for us by Justin Hunt, and it's fabulous, and we thank you, Justin. And we will put his links in the show description for you to check out his work. And I guess we should explain where the hell we've been.
Yeah,
you want to go first? You want me to go first? You mean go first? Okay. That's fine. Just throw me right under the bus. Well, first of all, I want to talk about one thing that's new before I get into that.
Okay.
We're trying video. We've been radio stars all this time. So we'll see,
Right.
we'll see how the world of video treats us. Might work out, might not work out. We'll see what happens. But right now, we're being recorded. So if you're listening to this on the audio podcast, check us out on YouTube. Our YouTube channel will be in the show description, and you can see our faces. It's worth it. It's worth it. Check it out. Otherwise, you can keep listening this way too. We're going to keep the show here as well. So, where the fuck have I been? Well, I've been moving, sort of suddenly. That sounds like there was a lot of drama. There's not a lot of drama. Our house was too small. I've been wanting to find a place that fits our family better for quite a while. And I think I got to sort of the breaking point because my partner was home during COVID. So me, kids, him, all the animals in the house.
Running all over each other.
We had one bathroom. It was too much. It's too much. Mm-hmm. So I think I just kind of snapped one day and was like, okay, we're just gonna call my beautiful realtor friend. We're just gonna call her up and see what's going on and talk about it. And then we looked at like 2 houses and that was it. I found the house and we got moved,
amazing.
and that's really what I've been doing all this time. It's just moving. No big deal. Moving.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. Look.
It's a lot.
I underestimated it. I thought that I had it all. Girl, I didn't know what I was getting into. I thought I had it all figured out. But it was a lot more involved than I thought. Because we've been in that place for 15 years. We were like really settled in. So it was like unearthing our entire family. Like that's the first place that we've lived as a couple. And our children were born there. So it was a lot.
Yeah, a lot of good memories there.
There were, and there still are, because we're still trying to sell that house. Oh my God, that's a different story for a different day. But yeah, so it's just been a several months of just moving. That's all. Nothing major, but
a lot of upheaval.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of upheaval, but it'll be all right. It's gonna get better.
Oh yeah. Oh, I love it here, though, so much. So it's totally worth it. I will say that kind of brings us to the idea of our show. It's funny because I guess a lot of people are moving right now. That's true. Kind of nationwide. People are just moving. But I had a couple of people that I know, friends of mine, that were also moving right before we did. And they would call me and ask me, you know, okay, so I'm moving. So what do I do with these relationships I've developed with the house and the land spirits here? So that was a conversation that I had been having before I moved, and then I went through it personally. So I think it's worth talking about, because I don't know that a lot of people think about that, and I think it's important for witches to develop that relationship with their house and with their land and the spirits of their house and the spirits of their land. So what happens when you got to break up, you know, and it's nobody's fault, you know? So let's talk about it. Well, do you want to tell us where you've been before let's talk about you before we get into the meat of it. I know what's going on with you, but they don't. So how are you?
Bottom line, I'm better. I'm much better. I had gotten several surgeries over the last couple of years, and you put COVID on top of that, and I just kind of went into a funk for a little while, like a lot of people do and have and still are. It's a real thing. PTSD from it and all of that. It's all a real thing. So if y'all are dealing with it, you're not alone. There's a lot of us out there, a bunch of us out there going through the same thing. But I've got my stuff straight. You know, my gardens got as far as they could go. And, you know, just piddling around the house and taking care of myself and healing up. And I had one last surgery I wasn't expecting that kind of fell on me. And after that, I was like, okay, all that's done. So time to get back to the land of the living. And here I am. So
good. I'm glad you took that break, though, because look at you. You're glowing. You're glowing. There it is.
Trying.
But, yeah. Trying. I'm glad. And yeah, no, I'm totally with you. Like 2020/2021 fucking sucks, man.
Yeah, 2021 came in and we were like, okay, great. Maybe we can just start over. And then crap, here we are again. Mask mandate. The whole 9 yards. And so, yeah, just doing what they tell me to do and, you know, try not to get sick. That's the biggest thing.
Be smart. Stay safe. Wash your damn hands. For fuck's sake. Were people just not doing that? Please. I guess they weren't.
Well, now they're saying, I heard this morning, and I hate to bring it up on the show, but I did hear this morning they're saying that this new COVID strain is as contagious as the chicken pox.
Oh,
which is extremely contagious.
Yeah. Super.
So, yeah, if you're not vaccinated, please wear a mask, y'all. It's just not worth tempting fate. You know what I'm saying?
No.
It's not worth it.
Stay home, too, if you can. You know? You got shit to do at home. You know damn well you got shit to do at home. Do some of that shit. Don't be saying you don't got time.
People got to work. People got to work. People got to go to school.
I get that.
Putting at least a little piece of fabric over your face for a few hours a day is all you got to do to stay safe. God, y'all. I mean, you know, there's a lot more worse things we could have to do.
That's true. I'm with you.
Yeah, she's talking about the mask, not me talking.
Oh, no, I wasn't talking about you. No, God. I'm talking about God, I'm done. I quit. I hear how that sounded now. I missed
you so much.
Girl, you know I'm a Sagittarius, right? We don't hear it until after we've already said it.
Right.
And then
me, Cancer, I'm all the feels, late. So, yeah.
I wasn't telling you to you talk forever. Keep going.
I know. Girl, I know you.
All right. Well,
don't even go there.
Look, it's Leo season. Are you excited about Leo season?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's my favorite time of the year. Fucking hate Leo season, man. It's a lot. It's hot as fuck. I swear.
It is hot as fuck.
It is hot. Oh, God. Look at this. The humidity. Like, this mountain right here. I just washed it because it was too big. I had to. It's wet. It's still wet, and it's like I'm talking about my hair frozen. In case anybody's confused. Yeah, it's a nightmare.
Yeah, this is why I got all mine cut off. See,
I love it. I'm so jealous.
I don't have to worry about it.
Look, if I cut mine that short though, it would just be like bing, little frizzy curls sticking straight up. Terrible. Kind of this,
I hear you.
But more.
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever. That's me talking about my hair again. The humidity has been insane. Like, it's like 100% humidity every single day. When it hasn't been raining. Look, I'm worried about all this rain. This is drought season, and it's been nonstop rain for a month. So I'm worried about mud season when that comes around in September.
Oh, yeah.
What is there going to be any rain
It'll-
left, or are we going to just be soggy up to our knees? Let's find out.
Yeah, I'm hoping we're soggy. I'd
Yeah?
rather be soggy than dry. Yeah. But that's just me.
I'd rather
the
be
flowers love the
just
rain.
medium. They do
Yeah.
for to a point. Some of mine are drowning. Like
Oh, they'll be all right.
they're gonna have to be all right because what am I gonna do? They're in the ground. Like,
Well,
be
that's the
okay.
great thing about your place. You had a great lady who knew what she was doing with that yard, and she has planted you some amazing gardens,
She sure has.
and so they will be fine.
I love that's what I loved about this house. You know, we'll get back into our topic now. So,
Yeah.
when I found this house, gosh, well, first of all, I had overlooked it because the pictures on the internet sucked. So I was just kind of
They
like,
really did.
They did. I think they did that on purpose. I
Yeah.
swear they did that on purpose. So we came to look at it, and I was just like, nah, it's not gonna be the one. And then we have a long driveway, and it like curves around, and then in the back, there's like this secret garden back there, and it's
Yeah.
gorgeous. And I stepped out, and I was like, oh shit, I didn't know, because none of the pictures of the garden were on the internet at all. So I was like, I fell in love at that moment, and then everything in the house, inside the house, matched up perfectly
Yeah.
with what our needs were, and I love it. And since we've been here, I've just watching the garden bloom every single day. So
Yeah.
new stuff's popping up all the time. I'm happy. I need to weed. It looks terrible, but
Mine
oh well.
too.
I'll get out there
Yeah,
when this
it's too wet.
It's too wet and too hot.
Well, the grass is up to my knees in my yard right now, and it's actually growing through the bottom of some of my lawn chairs, but it's been raining so much, I can't get out there to cut anything. Yeah.
This
This
is
is going to have to wait.
This has been the first dry-ish day, and I think it rained early this morning or last night. So we finally got our yard cut today. But yeah,
Oh,
like
good.
it was tickling my ass when I walked outside. It was terrible. It's awful.
What you wearing for it to be tickling your ass?
Hey, you know what? This is my house. I can wear whatever I want.
You brought it up.
I did.
Just saying.
You're right though. Don't bring it up if you don't want to talk about it. Yeah. So moving. So that's been kind of an interesting journey. Getting to know this new house. And I think I lucked out with this house because it had been so well loved. Like the previous owners had been here for like
They really
30
did,
years. Yeah. And they loved it, and they took care of it, and you could feel that. Like the house felt like it was in a healthy place regarding humans, you know. So it was really when I started sort of introducing myself to the house and getting to know the house and the land spirits. They were welcoming, which was not the case when I moved into the house that we're leaving. That house had been not lived in for like, God, several years.
Yeah.
When we got there. And the house was sort of brooding. It's not like it was asleep. It's like it was kind of like asleep, but it was
Probably
just
angry from being abandoned.
Yeah, it was just like it had been neglected, and so it took a while to start feeling like a house and start feeling like to shift that energy around.
Right.
And it made a huge shift when my kids were born. That like really changed the energy of the house big time. Was just bringing kids into it. I think they carry a lot of just joyful energy for the most part. That houses just love that shit. Houses love kids.
Yeah.
So and then this house was just so open and receptive to me. Like one of the first things I did when the day we came to look at it, I made an offering to the house when we rolled up and stepped out of the car. And once I fell in love with it, it was love at first sight. Once I fell in love with it, I literally put a mark on the kitchen wall, and I was like, this is my house. I'm going to own this house. And then everything fell into place perfectly. It's a funny story about that too. Like I mentioned before, I've been wanting, and you've heard all these stories, so bless your heart for listening to them all again. But I've been talking about wanting to move for a long time, as you know, and I had put in my planner, because I'm a planner girl, I had put in my planner a goal date that I wanted to move, and it was just like the arbitrary 3 years from now thing. Turned out to be within 5 days of our closing date.
Yep.
Isn't that crazy? And it was like from years ago.
And we'd actually delayed it, yeah.
Yeah.
It had actually gotten a little delayed, so.
And it ended right on that that date. It was so crazy because that was something I had written years ago. Like I had to go back and look at my planners. My husband didn't believe me. He was like, you didn't really write that down. I was like, well, let me get my planners out and see. And it was like 4 or 5 years ago or whatever, 3 years ago. And I was like, that's crazy. So yeah, or it was already starting to manifest from the time I wrote that. So think about that, folks. Magic needs time, especially something enormous like a house. You know, it needs time to manifest. So don't, you know, if you're not seeing what you've put out manifesting in your time frame, okay, that's one thing. But it may be in the works. You know, you got to give it the time to come to you in the best possible way. And I think that's definitely what happened here, because I love this house so much. Like, I'm going to retire here. I'm going to die here. Don't put me in a home. This is it. I told my kids not to put me in a home. We'll see what happens.
They
But
won't.
yeah, they won't. They'll just lock the door and they'll throw food under the window and just leave me to it. But yeah, it's been wonderful. And when after we bought the house, one of the first things I did was a cleansing on the house and a blessing of the space, and just sat in the space with nobody else here and journeyed out to the spirit of the house and communed with it and got to know it and introduced my family and said, you know, we've got this many dogs and this many cats and we're moving in and you know, let's work together. What do you need? What do you want from us? You know, and what do we expect from you? You know, and so we had this sort of conversation and started developing our relationship. And I talk about houses like they're people because I think that they are. Particularly for a witch, you know, your house it's part of your, just like everything else, it's part of your sacred space, you know?
Right.
If you're in communion with your house, everything goes smoother, you know? Things break less, which is remarkable.
Yeah.
You know, you are more aware of things that are going on in the house, and like when people come up to the house, you know that they're there. The house will speak to you. Like literally, this is where I sound like a crazy person. It's true though. It's true. It's just true. But yeah, so letting go of the old house, you know, that was hard too. Because like I said, that was where my family was born. You know, that was where we started our lives. So having to have that conversation of, you know, we're leaving and we're not going to be here anymore. And what do you need from me? How can I ease this parting? And, you know, how do you want to proceed? Like, cause we've got to find a good family for the house too. That's going to be a good match for it. You know, I don't want to sell it to someone who's going to, you know, be, detrimental to the land or the spirits that are there. Right. So that's a difficult conversation.
Someone who's going to love it as much as you have. So
yeah. And gosh, I'd love it if somebody were at least aware of the spirits there. I feel like I'm going to have to go over there and feed them, you know, occasionally. That's going to get awkward.
You might need to.
I might have to. But, you know, we haven't sold it yet. So that has been part of, just the maintenance of my spiritual work is going back over there and taking care of the spirits that are still there, and familyless at the moment. So that's kind of sad. But
Yeah.
you work with moving and things like that a lot, because I don't know if you've announced your career on here before. I think you have.
I think we've talked about it before, yeah. I'm actually Selena's realtor, so, we found this house for her and her family together, and that was a lot of fun. We had some not so great houses to look at, and then when we walked into this one, she was just like a lot of my clients. You walk in and you either love it or you don't, and within the first 2 minutes you're there if you love it or not. Yeah. And when she stepped out the car, I could see it on her face, and I was like, oh, here we go.
Here we go. Yeah.
And the coolest thing about her finding this house, I have to admit, it's perfect for them, but we were walking around the property and we were standing in the front yard, and these two hawks, first one came and circled us standing out in the front yard, then its mate came behind it and circled with it, and they flew off and landed in a tree close by together. And I looked at her and I said, okay, I'm done. That's it.
Right? That was it. And
that was it.
That was the kicker for my husband, because he was kind of freaking out, it's a big thing. Yeah. And the hawks, he was like, okay, all right. We saw him, I saw him again the week after we moved here. Just sitting on a birdhouse right outside my window, on top of it, as big as the birdhouse. One was sitting there and looking right in my bedroom window. I had opened the curtain and there it was. And I was just like, oh. And then I haven't seen him since. So
you'll see him again. They'll be around.
I hope so.
I kind of felt like they were sort of the guardians of that place. You know what I'm saying? Because of the way they showed themselves. And the fact that they showed up in front of the bedroom window. Do you need a sign? Come on.
I do need to be spiritually kicked about the face quite a bit sometimes to get the message.
Yeah, you're so difficult.
I am difficult.
That's pretty obvious, though.
It's pretty obvious.
You got to admit. Yeah.
You know what's really interesting, too? I have lots of, plant allies and animal allies and things like that. And there have been not every single one of them, but a ridiculous amount of them have shown up here, plants in the garden that I work with spiritually. They're popping up all over the place. And animals that I work with, I don't know if you saw, on top of the barn, there's a weather vane, and it has a stag on it. Did you see that? I didn't see that when we were looking at the house. I didn't see it till we moved here, and I was like, oh my God. So, I know. So that's one of my allies that I work with. So it's just been a really, it's like a magical place. Every time I'm like, I think I'm going to grow this next year. That's how I say it too. It pops up. It pops up, and I'm like, well, good. I don't have to worry about it. It's already here. And it's so funny. I was telling my husband a few weeks ago, I was like, I'm going to plant me some tomatoes next year. And there's a whole bunch of them that have popped up out of our compost pile, and they're delicious. I've been eating them, and they're that big.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's great.
Awesome.
I'm loving it.
That's awesome.
So what do you do to connect with your house spirits and to work with the spirits of your land and your house?
I never thought about it as working with them. We just kind of coexist together.
Yeah.
I've never actually sat down and said, hey, house spirits, how's it going? What do you need? Not saying that's what you do, but
that is what I do. That's different. What it looks like.
Yeah. That's exactly what you do, I'm sure.
No, it is.
But I walk barefooted in my front yard sometimes. I work in the garden a lot. Except up until this time of year, I have been very neglectful because it's just been so stinking hot. But, that's why I'm grateful for the rain, because my plants aren't burning up like they usually do at this time of year. So I am grateful for that. But yeah, I'm just watching everything bloom and grow and get weedy and out of hand. But it's so pretty, and I walk out there. I'm like, hey, I'll talk to them. I'm like the crazy person in the yard. It's like, I have these giant elephant ears by my front door right now. I planted 2 little bulbs back in the spring, and I said, they're never going to grow. They were this dry looking. I planted them too late. Kind of, Those suckers have huge roots coming off of them. And the leaves are this big. I mean, they're bigger than I can put on camera how big they are. The giant elephant ears. But they're beautiful. And, I'm like, hey, good job, guys. Looking good. And, things like that. And then the hummingbirds visited me this morning on my way to my car going to work. Because I've gotten another job in also doing real estate still. But this is more of a full-time position, so... But my hummingbirds came and greeted me this morning on my way to my car. And that felt good because I hadn't seen them in a while. And they're going to be going away here in a couple of months anyway. So it was interesting seeing them fly around, when I haven't been outside. So it's like, hey, we know you're still here kind of deal. So that was pretty cool. Yeah. But, as much as I can get outside, be in the sun, be with my flowers, and, even if I'm just walking around looking to see what's blooming, that's as close as, as I get. I love to feed the birds, but unfortunately my squirrels have decided that if I don't refill the bird feeder, they're going to tear into my pot plants out on my balcony now. So the birds aren't getting fed at the moment. And I'm looking seriously into buying one of those $100 squirrel fling bird feeders. Have you seen those?
Oh, I have seen those.
They've got a motor in the bottom, and if they grip onto the bottom, it spins them around really fast and throws them off.
Oh, Lord.
I'm seriously considering spending that money because they've destroyed several of my potted plants in the last few weeks because I haven't refilled that bird feeder. And I'm not going to refill it because they're tearing my stuff up. So
no, don't reward bad behavior.
No.
Look, we've got...
They're lucky I haven't put something else out there for them.
You know what? Let's move on.
Yeah. Let's go to another subject.
Yeah. Speaking of birds, we've got a ton of birds here. So the owners before us had become bird watchers during COVID, and I'm so glad they did because I love birds, and at our other house I would just throw bird seed just all over the ground, and I would just watch them out the window, and the cats would slam into the window trying to get them. The squirrels would get it. I love
loads of family fun. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time. But yeah, so there's lots of birds. We've got feeders up all over, and I have to refill those things every day just about, and tons of hummingbirds. But the squirrel gets on my feeder, little shit. He just gets on there upside down. I gave in. I bought a damn squirrel feeder. I know. Okay. I know. I'm working for them now. So I keep that full, and that keeps him off my bird feeder because he wants that. So that's good. Then a raccoon came and pulled the little screen out of the squirrel feeder. So I fixed it. I made it raccoon proof. I feel like eventually I'm going to be like the woman who swallowed a fly. I keep getting, okay, now I got to feed the raccoons. And then the next big thing, the coyotes are going to come. I have to throw out stakes on the ground to keep the coyotes. No. You'll see in like books and movies and things like that about a witch's house being alive. And I think they are, because I think sort of everything's alive. But I think it's really interesting when you're in direct relationship with the house itself, and then the land spirits as a separate thing. Because I think...
Sure.
For me, the garden and the land and getting my hands in the dirt, that's something that goes beyond the walls of the house. That's the spirits of the land. That's been there long before this house was here. Right. So the house itself is a separate thing. And it's funny when my children get involved because they'll ask the house to find stuff. And it's such a great way to find things, which I don't know where anything is right now because we just moved. And I'm just like, ask the house. And... look, the house will guide them to it. 10 minutes later, they're like, oh, I found it. So it does, because it can see everything. It sees everything. So it's really interesting to think about, especially if you're thinking elementally about the nature of the things in your house. You've got water pipes in the house. You've got electrical in the house. You've got, your air conditioning. is coming through the house. So that's
Thank God.
that's your air. Oh, right. Thank all the gods. That's
all
your
the
air,
gods.
your fire, your water. The studs and the walls and the foundation. That's your earth. You've got everything everything there that you have within yourself, and that that you use in your sacred space. You call in all these forces into your ritual space. Well, you're surrounded by these forces in your physical space, which is part of your spiritual space too. So, for me, it's important in my practice to be connected to those things in a spiritual way, as well. And just it's people get so distracted sometimes by looking for spirit outside of themselves and outside of what's right in front of their face. You know what I mean?
Right.
You don't have to bring in a bunch of fancy things. You don't have to bring in a bunch of fancy tools. You've got representations. You've got embodiments of all of the elements of the wise right in your own house, right around you all the time. And they like to be with people. They're made to be with people because they're made by people. Houses like to be lived in.
Yeah, they do. I mean, what's sadder than an empty house?
Nothing. Oh, they fall apart. They start to crumble. It doesn't take long at all.
It doesn't.
The end. Yeah. So that's been my journey the past few months. Just getting to know this beautiful house that I love. Hello, house.
You've got a lot going on, a lot of good things.
I do. It's been busy. Yeah. I've been enjoying it. I hope that going forward, hopefully, we'll kind of get back into a regular schedule. If we don't, we don't. If we do, we do. Just that's where we're at. Yeah, I hope so too, but I'm definitely all for honoring where you're at, And if we need a damn break, we'll take a damn break.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
No, I'm good. But I'm good now.
Oh, good. You're good? Awesome. I'm ready to be back at it. I enjoy this so much. I enjoy talking to you.
I do too.
I enjoy, talking to all of you guys. I hope to, we've had some excellent listener suggestions over the break, so I really want to dig into a lot of those as we go forward.
Okay.
We may start doing more video. Like if you're only watching this and you're only watching the video, we've been podcasting for a while, so you'll have to check out our
years
podcast. Now, yeah. Wherever you get podcasts at. Crossroads and Cauldrons podcast. So this is the first video one. We'll see what happens with that.
And it's really weird, y'all. I'm sorry.
Oh, I know. Looking at the camera, looking at you.
Looking at the camera, looking at the screen, looking at the camera, looking at the screen.
Maybe we'll get good at this, do you think?
I think so. I've just got to get my area together here. I'm not as cool and set up as you are with the candles in the background and the mood lighting.
This is just my altar room. It just mood lighting. Oh, it is. Oh, well,
just mood lighting.
Just mood lighting. No big deal.
Yeah. I relocated my office, so I have to move some things around.
Oh, you're fine. Look, I've just been teaching classes online for the past year and a half, so I had
is true too.
I had to figure out how to make this work. So.
I'll just get you to come over here and do mine for me.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Okay, come on.
Let's do that. All right, awesome. But yeah, so our next episode, we're going to be talking to Elizabeth Autumnalis. And did I say that clearly? I think I stumbled. Elizabeth Autumnalis. No, there it is.
That's better.
And they are wonderful. We love them. So that'll be next episode. And that one was already recorded, so I don't have video. You don't get to see their beautiful face, but they are beautiful,
That's okay.
So enjoy.
Yeah.
And there you go. Oh, we're going to have Nicholas Pearson coming up in a few weeks. That will be a good time. He's a crystal witch. We're going to talk to him a little bit. And
that'll be fun.
That's my plan right now. That's right now. Oh, past guest Byron Ballard, her new book that we talked about on the show, Seasons of a Magical Life, is out. It's available right now. I got my copy from Asheville. It's Asheville Raven and Crone, I think, is the name of the store. And they've got signed copies, so go get a copy. It's going to be awesome. I think they've got an audio version as well. I don't have it, if there is one, but I believe there is one. So check that out.
Yeah.
And
we put a link to that?
yeah, I think we could do that. I want to get her back on the show to talk about it some more. But she mentioned when she was here in February that that was coming out. So that's exciting. It's out. Go get it. Go get it. It's out. What else? I guess that's it. I just kind of wanted to say, hey, I moved. Sorry about it. I moved and
I wanted to say,
abandoned
hey,
the
I'm
podcast.
back.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah.
I'm glad
Yeah.
you're back.
She's been holding down the fort without me for a few months, and I appreciate it. I really do.
Well,
Thank you.
I totally abandoned them too. Like I was not a good caretaker at all. Not without you.
I don't think that's true.
Let's don't ask them. We'll assume it's not true.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, I
good.
think that's about all we've got for you this time. But we're going to get back into it and behave ourselves a little bit. Maybe.
If y'all have any ideas, be sure to shoot them over to us. We'd love to hear from you.
Girl, they've sent us so many good ideas. We just got to do them.
Sounds good. Let's go.
Awesome.
I'm ready. Let's roll.
Let's roll. Well, thanks everybody for listening or tuning in. And if you are, if this is on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to our channel, and we will see you next time.
Bye, y'all.
Blessed be everybody. Thank you all so much for listening, and don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe through your favorite podcast provider. It helps us get our podcast in front of more listeners just like you. If you'd like to get in touch with us, you can leave us a voicemail by clicking the link in the description of this episode, and you can always find us on Facebook and Instagram by searching for Crossroads and Cauldrons Podcast.